we're here for the very first Friday Fireside Chat with Mr. Bob Greene from Liberty Global. And Bob, for those of you who aren't terribly familiar with all the things that Liberty Global is involved in, can you tell us a little bit about Liberty Global and what you do there?
Sure. First of all, welcome, morning, afternoon, whatever it is.
Afternoon, whatever it is.
See, that's part of the whole thing. We lose track.
What day is it?
Yeah. So Liberty Global, we are a big international cable company. We own media properties all around Europe. We used to be in Australia and Japan and South America, but we've, over the last decade or so, sort of focused all our efforts in Europe. We own properties like Virgin Media in the UK and Ziggo and NL. We have lots of investments in content companies. We're a stake of iTV. We own a stake of Quibi. We own a stake of Lionsgate. A lot of different things that we're involved in. But primarily, we're a connectivity company with broadband and video and mobile and so forth. So we have about 25 million customers. Sorry?
And what do you do there?
And my job is to drive partnerships between third parties and Liberty Global beyond sort of traditional hardware relationships. You know, I don't deal with set-top box manufacturers, those type of things. But putting Netflix on the set-top box, putting Amazon on the set-top box, doing a deal with Google Home, you know, whatever it might be, looking at all the different direct-to-consumer apps. How do we want to bring that to the table? What do we do there? So really anything that has to do with a general partnership, I'm brought in to sort of craft the business relationship. If it's a very technical relationship like cloud, I'm more of the conductor versus the actual participant.
Got it.
So it's a very fulfilling job. I do it from Denver, which is challenging. But again, part of this whole thing with the virus is it's made everybody do this type of thing a lot more, which actually helped me because I've always worked virtual and remotely, even though I do travel to Europe a lot. So this has actually been a good thing in that odd way to get more people to have these type of meetings and feel comfortable like this.
Cool. So, all right, so we know what you do and we know kind of how you're doing it. How is Liberty Global doing these days in this time of coronavirus?
Yeah, we're actually doing very well. As we chatted before we started, my company showed a lot of leadership. I'm very impressed by Mike Freeze, our CEO, on down through the organization. They leaned into this. On March 11th, we had a network test of our systems with 5,000 employees, and by the 12th, we were all instructed to stay on.
Wow.
And so that's whatever, we have 20,000 some odd employees, all working from home, including customer care. So it's really been an interesting process for us. We've leaned into it. The company has done tremendous things for the individuals. Unfortunately, I know of one colleague that we've lost as a result of the virus. I'm hoping that it won't be anymore, but you know, chances are high. The executive management team, starting with Mike, has created a fund of $4 million from their own money for virus victims. I think that says a lot to what we are, a family in that sense. So I'm very, very proud of Global in terms of what we've done. And we've already had town halls. Mike held a town hall with the entire Denver office 10 days ago, and then this week he held one with last week, he held one with the entire company worldwide.
Interesting.
It was
Mike, by the way, was in the Cable Pioneers class of 2011 with yours truly. We were in
Is that right?
The same class, however many years ago that was. So what are the Liberty Global business priorities now? What are the things that you wake up every morning and say, got to focus on this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds contrite, but it is first and foremost our employees, our colleagues, our peers.
Yep.
We spent a lot of time on this. The HR department, our people department, has done an awful lot of great work. So there's touching We touch base with everybody every morning, make sure that people are feeling comfortable being remote and all the things that come with that. So it's the company, like I said, has made it such that we're focused on the people, and then obviously we're focused on maintaining connectivity in the highest level of service that we can possibly have. I mean, there was, not surprisingly, everybody in the early days, we had a bit of a concern about the massive usage of the networks.
Yep.
With all the home schooling and all the homework and all that. The networks are set up to handle it, but there were some huge spikes. And fortunately, we're able to work with Netflix and Amazon and others, and they got that the bandwidth usage would go through the roof. And so they voluntarily brought down some of their bandwidth, some of their profiles, so they didn't have as high bandwidth profiles streaming all the time. So we're very focused on the networks, making sure the connectivity is there. Very focused on, I mean, obviously our sales are way down. That's not surprising, but our churn is basically zero as well.
Yes, which is net positive that way. Yeah.
Yeah, but like everything else, we'll see what happens when we come out of it. How many people can pay? Will bad debt go up? But uniquely, we are in a position, because we did a huge transaction with Vodafone a year ago. We're sitting on $8 billion of cash, $10 billion worth of liquidity. So we are in a position, we're not in any trouble financially, outside of our stock, but everybody's in the same place. So we're in a good place financially, and it lets us to be opportunistic, looking at the market in terms of what companies might need cash, what companies might need help, what opportunities are out there. That's a little bit of the rawness of the outside, downside of this, but
yeah.
But that's a fact, and that's what we're looking at. But we're not trying to be opportunistic, take advantage of the situation. We're just saying that's the reality.
Well, you're healthy financially, and you've got solid management. So at some point in time, we sort of come out of this in stages, country by country. Your European operations, you may have one country that is returning to business prior to another one.
That's correct.
So how do you set up for that? How are you planning to deal with what's going to happen?
Yeah, it's a great question. There are teams, particularly on the financial side, in the finance group, that are working on they're game planning various scenarios. And, we are game planning working from home to end in July, August, October.
And whenever.
And end of year. We are literally game planning that. What's that going to take? What's it going to cost? We think this is very important to look at the business, but we're also being realistic about, the income streams that we're going to have.
Got it. Well, okay. Now listen, we said 5 to 10 minutes for the first Friday Fireside. We've done 5 to 10 minutes. And Bob Greene, I hope you are and your family is safe there in Denver. We are on our little farm here in Maryland waiting for a tornado to come by, believe it or not.
Wonderful.
It hasn't hit yet, so I think we've managed to record this. So thank you very much, and we will talk again.
Thank you. Take care. Be safe.
Bye-bye.